The coffee in my cup is a $12 artisanal blend. The chair I am sitting in is an ergonomic masterpiece that costs more than my first car. The room is temperature controlled to exactly 71 degrees, bathed in soft shadowless LED light. It is the most comfortable, sterile, and safe environment a corporation can buy. And yet, I am staring at a high-definition monitor, watching a man in a basement do things to another human being that would make the devil himself look away. I don't look away. I can't. I click a button labeled Class 4 escalation, take a slow sip of my expensive coffee, and move on to the next video in the queue. I am not a cop, I am not a hero, I am a digital janitor. And I am paid $10,000 a month to make sure that when you scroll through the internet, you don't step in the absolute worst garbage humanity has to offer. It started a year ago. I was working a dead-end IT job, drowning in student loans, scrolling through job boards at 2 a.m. The listing was vague: data risk analyst, high stress tolerance required, top-tier compensation. The interview process wasn't about my coding skills. It was a psychological vivisection, 5 different therapists. Hundreds of questions. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? What is your relationship with your mother? If you see a dog being hit by a car, do you feel an urge to look away, or an urge to study the impact? They were looking for a very specific type of mind. They didn't want empathy. Empathy is a liability. They wanted compartmentalization. They wanted someone who could build a concrete wall in their brain, put the horrors on one side, and live a normal life on the other. When they offered me a base salary of $120,000, plus full psychiatric benefits, I signed the 70-page non-disclosure agreement without reading the fine print. You think you're buying financial freedom. You don't realize you're selling your soul on an installment plan. The first few weeks were manageable. The training wheels phase. My queue was mostly low-level dark web traffic that tried to cross over to the clear web, illegal weapons trades, exotic animal smuggling, stolen credit card databases. It felt like watching a gritty crime documentary. You feel a sense of clinical detachment. You categorize, you flag, you delete. You are the invisible shield protecting society. Every Friday, we had a mandatory session with the company psychiatrist, Dr. Aris. How are we feeling today? He would ask, his pen hovering over a clipboard. Fine, I'd say, it's just data ones and zeros. Week 1 psychological evaluation score, 10 out of 10, optimal functionality. But the training wheels come off in month 3. You get promoted to Tier 2. That's when the algorithm stops feeding you the financial crimes and starts feeding you the human element. I thought I knew what darkness was. I thought the news had prepared me for the cruelty of the world. But the news is a curated, sanitized summary. The news tells you a monster exists. My monitor showed me the monster's unedited home videos. Cartel executions, extremist propaganda, red rooms. Things that don't just break the law, they break the fundamental laws of nature. At first, your body rejects it. The first time I saw a class though violent event, I ran to the pristine, marble-tiled bathroom and threw up my lunch. I was shaking. I thought about quitting right then. But then the direct deposit hits your bank account. You pay off your car. You move into a luxury apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows. You tell yourself, somebody has to do this. If I don't, this filth reaches the public. You rationalize it. And the human brain is a terrifyingly adaptable machine. It protects you by turning off the lights in the empathy sector. By month 5, the desensitization was complete. I was eating a turkey sandwich while watching a live-streamed torture session from an abandoned warehouse in Eastern Europe. I was chewing, analyzing the frame rate, noting the IP address, and flagging the content. My heart rate didn't even spike. I thought this numbness was a superpower. I thought my mental firewall was bulletproof. I didn't realize that the numbness wasn't armor. It was the symptom of an infection. It was the rot setting in. Friday session with Dr. Aris. Any nightmares? He asks. No dreams at all, I reply. Week 20 evaluation score, 30 out of 100, acceptable degradation. The real danger of the abyss isn't what it holds. It's that it follows you home. We called it the bleed. When the things on the screen start leaking into your physical reality. It started small. I was at a grocery store on a Sunday afternoon, totally normal day. Fluorescent lights, pop music playing on the speakers. I saw a father holding his little girl's hand in the produce aisle. He was smiling, buying apples, a picture-perfect moment. But my brain didn't see a father. My brain, rewired by thousands of hours of looking for predators, immediately began analyzing his body language. Why is he holding her wrist that tightly? Why is he scanning the perimeter? What does he do behind closed doors? I abandoned my shopping cart and walked out. I couldn't breathe. You stop going out. You stop dating. How can you sit across a candlelit table from someone and talk about their favorite Netflix show when your retinas are burned with the images of what human beings do to each other when they think no one is watching? They ask you, "How was work?" And you have to smile and say, "Oh, I tear stuff," just staring at spreadsheets. You lie to your friends. You lie to your family. The NDA binds your tongue, but the isolation is self-inflicted. You realize you are no longer the same species as the people walking around you. They are living in a sunny simulation and you are the mechanic covered in grease, maintaining the pipes in the darkest, most foul-smelling basement of reality. Week 35 evaluation score, 31 mort out of 1 borderline critical. Eris prescribes Ambien and suggests I take a mandatory 2-week paid leave. I refuse. If I stop working, I'm left alone with my thoughts. The monitor is the only thing that makes sense anymore. They tell you that the gore is what breaks people. It isn't. You get used to blood. Blood is biological. Blood is predictable. What breaks you is the psychological terror, the quiet videos. It was a Tuesday night, bar 0 a.m. A file drops into my queue, no metadata, highly encrypted, categorized as Tier 1 unverified. I press play. It isn't a murder. It isn't a cartel. It is a locked, brightly lit room. A man is sitting in a chair facing the camera. He isn't tied up. He isn't bleeding. He is just staring into the lens. For 10 minutes, nothing happens, no sound, just the hum of the video feedback. Then the man starts to whisper. He is whispering directly into the microphone. He isn't making threats. He is reciting personal details. He names streets. He names schools. He names my street. He names the elementary school I went to. My blood turns to ice. My hand freezes over the mouse. The man on the screen smiles a thin, knowing smile and says, "We see you looking at us. Do you think you're invisible behind that screen? We know who cleans the trash." The video ends. I slam my hand on the emergency panic button under my desk, the protocol for a direct docs threat. Within 30 seconds, 2 internal security agents are in my cubicle. They isolate the machine. They run a trace. An hour later, my supervisor comes in. He looks at me with eyes that are completely dead. "It's a generative AI deepfake," he says smoothly. "A psychological attack script designed to target moderators by scraping their leaked public data. It's fake. You're perfectly safe. Just take a 15-minute break and return to your queue." He tells me it's fake, but my mind is already shattered. The concrete wall in my brain doesn't just crack, it collapses completely. The horrors from the other side come rushing in, like a black tsunami. I realize in that moment that I am not the shield. I am just a voyeur. I have spent a year absorbing the absolute darkest energy of the human race, downloading it directly into my nervous system for a paycheck. And there is no amount of money in the world that can scrub my brain clean. I didn't take the 15-minute break. I stood up, left my ID badge on the ergonomic keyboard, walked out of the sterile room, and never went back. Week 40, evaluation score, AI employee terminated. I live in a cabin now 3 hours outside the city. No Wi-Fi, no smart devices. I have a flip phone for emergencies. The money in my bank account sits there, heavy and tainted. It pays for my groceries and my therapy, but it doesn't pay for peace. Because every time I close my eyes, I see the queue. I see the endless stream of thumbnails waiting to be clicked. People think the internet is a library. It isn't. It's a city. It has beautiful parks and bright libraries, yes. But it also has dark alleys, sewer systems, and locked basements. And down there in the dark, the worst monsters of humanity are constantly knocking on the door, trying to get into the light. I know because for a year I was the one holding the door shut. If you're watching this on a brightly lit screen, feeling safe in your room, remember that your digital safety is bought with someone else's sanity. If this glimpse into the shadows made you think, hit that subscribe button. We are going to keep pulling back the curtain on the realities you were never meant to see. Have you ever stumbled across something on the internet you wish you could unsee? Drop your story in the comments below. And whatever you do tonight, stay out of the deep end.